what you thought. Adam Vice, huh? And who is he? Who he be? We Illuminati. Moving in the dark, keep it out the way. Scheming on the low, master plan and play. Ops wanna talk, but they do what we say. Got the secret code, gotta pay to stay. Got it with the Glock Illuminati crew. Body after body, they don't got a clue.
Yo, what up? It's DoeNut, and you tuning in to Illuminati News. We're live with Jacob Israel.
Yo,
Yo,
was crazy, man.
We're feeding the kitty cat early because Jug the Goat sent us $2 super chat. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I got to tell you, that opening was very cool. How did you put me in there with Grimace? That was very strange.
It's trending all over the internet. They caught y'all doing some workouts.
Yeah, I do like the workout. I do. We're gonna work out the internet right now, you and me. Holy mackerel! People got no idea what we got to share today. It's gonna be crazy.
So, what's your thoughts right now? What's going on?
Oh my goodness, what's going on? There's so much going on. We got the files being finally released, as if I guess everybody's on board. It was like only one vote. One person was against it. So we'll see what happens. I'm hoping that things. I've been trying to see a future where people that are corrupt are revealed and they're held to account. And out of the blue, we have this. A lot of people were like, "Oh, it'll never happen," and I almost feel like years ago I kind of compared Donald to a bunch of characters, and one of them was King Jehu. Jehu was somebody that was kind of like him. He was kind of like a general, like a businessman, and he was, he had ports, and they said, "We want you to be king." And so he came in and he made everybody feel like they were welcome. And then he basically kind of lured everybody into a trap, and in one fell swoop, destroyed them all. And so it's pretty interesting because, he has an opportunity now to, if people were corrupt, if they did the wrong thing, to actually hold people to account. And a lot of people didn't think that he was going to vote yay. And here it is. But yeah, there's Grimace right there, smack dab at the White House. What's Grimace doing with the White House with a McDonald's MAGA hat on?
It looks like he's doing 6'7". That's what it looks like. 6'7".
Yeah, that's interesting.
So this figure, who is he that you've talked about on the last show? And thank you so much, Devlin, for the super chat. He says, "Happy birthday, DoeNut, and feed that Chan. I appreciate your longtime support. It's very kind."
It's your birthday? Is it your birthday?
Every single day is my birthday.
Well, happy birthday.
But it's somebody it's not actually my birthday. Somebody in the comment his birthday. And we got another super chat from
Num for Chan. I love it.
Let's feed the kitty cat. David gets bored, says Num Nums for Chanskis. Thank you. Look at that. Cat's really happy.
Very cool.
Now he doesn't have to eat the McDonald's.
Yeah, McDonald's. Who knows? Mystery meat, right? How many billions are served? Isn't that one of the conspiracies?
Yeah, no, there's a lot of weird stuff with McDonald's, but I want to get into, and I guess I'm kind of just moving forward. I was going to ask you who that character that Trump's portraying. It's in the Bible. Oh
God, there's a lot of them. There's so many of them. You talking about Jehu? Jehu.
Yes.
Jehu was a king who came in and basically, you probably remember Jezebel and Ahab and all that jazz.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Jehu kind of wiped out, that harlot nation. And so, a lot of people that are prophetic teachers and people that deal with the Bible and everything else, they talk about this stuff. And this is something that I've said for a long time. The beast in the book of Revelation turns on this harlot. And oh yeah, you're actually pulling up old school. That's cool, man. Yeah,
That is cool, huh? That's Wikipedia. They're in competition now with Grokpedia, so maybe they're stepping their game up.
Yeah, Jehu. Well, he was known for. I have like a little. I think I put a post out just recently, like a little minute. I don't know, short YouTube short about it. But yeah, I mean, this is his moment. He's got everybody on the same page. Everybody thought that he was going to be implicated, and everybody thought that he was doing naughty stuff. Him and Elon had the big falling out. Elon said, "You're in the files." And then next thing you know, the White House says, Elon's in the files. And all of a sudden they're best buds again with the Crown Prince. Just what was it, last night or the night before? They're all together. It's almost like it's a big ruse. And that's kind of what Jehu did. He kind of like suckered people. He tricked them all into thinking they were safe. And then they all showed up and then he killed them all. I'm not saying Donald Trump's going to do that, even though he's calling for that. I don't know if you saw just this is like breaking news. Some lawmakers were encouraging people that work in, work for the military to not carry out unlawful orders. And to which, our president said, look, that's sedition. That's the death penalty. That's spooky stuff, man. Because, I mean, if really they were just saying don't do unlawful things, there's nothing wrong with doing that.
Does this look like me?
Some people say that you do kind of, well, listen, you're a handsome guy. A lot of people say you're a handsome guy, right? I don't like the fact that you're more tan than me. I don't like the fact that you're younger and your beard looks fuller and you don't have to hide your hair with a really cool Italian hat.
Yeah. Hey, God, God, he creates everybody differently. Like I was saying earlier, sometimes he just makes people beautiful.
It's not fun, Alex. It's not fun. You worry about all sorts of things.
So this is breaking news. I did see it on the top of the mainstream news report. Trump calls for Dems. Yeah. I haven't looked at it, but oh man, look at that imagery.
Right. Yeah.
And then you also have all this rhetoric coming from Gavin Newsom with the image of Marie Antoinette, who was executed. And that's what like the French Revolution was about. And he had Trump as her saying everyone should eat cake. But what's wrong with cake? Cake is delicious.
Yeah, cake is delicious, especially if it's like Fudgy the Whale from Carvel. It's my favorite.
What is that? That's like the bodybuilder cake?
No, I just love Fudgy the Whale. I just love it because it reminds me of the story of Jonah. But Gavin Newsom's got to zip his lip. He's got to get out of there. It bothers me that so many people that are just so, they do things that are so wrong. And I mean, how does he end up in office? His campaign manager, he ends up cheating, and committed adultery, and his best friend. Like, I mean, these are the people that you have, condemning, Trump. It just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Doesn't make a lot of sense to me. The lockdowns, but yet he'll show up and he'll have his great dinner and he's having a great time and everybody's having fun. These people, man, it bothers me. All of these trust fund babies, acting so righteous.
Well, you got the, prayers to New York. You got that trust fund baby taking over, Mamdani.
Well, what's funny? What's weird about Mamdani is I knew he was going to be the guy. I knew that Islam was going to have its day. And it's interesting. My neighbor who moved in just a couple of years ago, who wonderful people. They're very, devout Muslim. His wife worked with the Mamdani, did marketing for them. They know them. So it's so strange that God always puts these people in my purview. But his name literally has a very biblical meaning. So it was very clear. I mean, when you got two people, you got Andrew Cuomo, his last name in Latin means well, let's just say it's what makes babies, but it's like the slang term for what men produce to make babies. Cuomo means that. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, and is that not like totally perfect for him, who had how many grandmas and grandpas passed away because he mandated that, patients that were sick needed to be going into these places while also keeping away family members? Horrible man, horrible people.
I see it now.
You know?
Cuomo.
Well, that's what it means. That's what it means, literally. And Mondami is a very different meaning.
Well, I think Mom Dami sounds like mom, dad, mom, da, ma, da, dad. Yeah. But what does Mom Dani mean?
I got it. You would think that I would remember.
Well, it's fine. That's fine. So we're on a new moon right now. The new moon just started at 1:47, so 3 minutes ago.
Right.
And that's pretty.
Oh, shoot. Today's a new moon?
Today's the new moon. Yeah. And it just started 3 minutes ago at 1:47.
The new moon, by the way, the new moon is the darkest phase of the moon, right? So you look at it, it looks dark, right? Am I correct?
Yes.
I'm looking
Yes.
at it. Yes.
It's like it disappears.
Right. Now, do you know? Maybe it's you. I'll keep talking just in case that I'm keeping the show going. But the new moon, so the binders, they came out with the binders on a new moon. And in witchcraft, believe it or not, there's something called a binding spell, where you come out and you can kind of like literally bind somebody from seeing something. And the best time to do it is during a new moon. So I don't know. Listen, did we
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. I think I covered for you. Maybe in the live chat, people can let me know, because it's always fun. When this
but you can hear me now.
I can hear you now. For a second, you froze. I didn't know if it was me or if it was you.
It's Mercury retrograde. So communications get messed up on Mercury retrograde. And now we're in the new moon.
That's interesting, because we had the Cloudflare issue where messages were shut down.
Yes. The Cloudflare. And you know what? I'm going to go to a clip of that.
That was weird, man. I mean, you got to think about this right now. I'll just tell you, in scripture, the witnesses and the messengers of God, they come from the clouds, like Christ comes in the clouds. So are you going to play this down? All right, cool.
Yeah. Is this the right one, or is it this one?
The right one. Yeah, this was just my, I think this was just my show yesterday.
Okay. I'm going to play the clip from
cool.
your show.
If the world hates you, keep in mind that it hated me first.
There's always a question, is it good or evil? That's the ethical question we always get stuck on. And so by that man protesting, I assume the Palantir technology at least works. And so, even if you're evil, you're at least not bad. You're not incompetent. And in a world that's full of total incompetence, you're even kind of good.
If somebody's committed crime, a more humane form of containment of future crime.
If they persecuted me, they will persecute you also. If they obey
And it's just going to follow you around and stop you from doing crime.
also, they will treat you this way because of my name. For they do not know the one who sent me.
How about this? An AI priest. Could you imagine?
In the US, an AI priest, that's right, an AI priest has been shut down after going rogue.
He began taking confessions like a real priest.
Whoever hates me hates my Father as well. If I had not done among them the works no one else did, they would not be guilty of sin as it is. They have
I don't think I played the right clip. I wanted to play the outage.
I got to tell you, that's all right. You can play the other clip right after this, but that's probably a very interesting. I mean, that was just from 2 days ago, But my goodness, yeah, that's crazy. Wicked for Good, man. Right now, it's in the Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo, both very, very active members of we'll say the lettered community, and both need to eat a little bit more. I feel bad for the two of them because they both look very, very unwell, and they're acting very crazy on all their interviews. But they're the movie Wicked for Good is like the big Thanksgiving movie. It's coming out. Wicked for Good is what in Scripture says the end times. That's it. They'll say wicked is good, good is wicked, And I found this to be very true, because we have a lot of people saying horrible things right now, and and it's perceived as good. I mean, even Trump's just his latest thing where he's like, "That's it. You need to be taken out of this world if you say not to carry out unlawful acts," and people are cheering it. I'm like, hang on a second. I thought you were pro-life. We're pro-life as long as it's acceptable and as long as it's cute little babies. We're not pro-life when it comes to bad people that make mistakes because they weren't taught better. There's a whole new world coming, but the world that we're in right now is one where you're going to see wicked for good. You're going to see people doing wicked, thinking that it's good, and they don't care. They're like, look, there's too many people. So what do we got to do? Well, it's, terrible to do what we're thinking, but overall it's a good thing. And you have Palantir, you have Peter Thiel saying, you know what, they're protesting Palantir. And because, of course, Palantir is going to be basically in charge of everything. It's no joke that Elon Musk and and Thiel who started PayPal, and it's no wonder that they're in charge of this. They just put in so much money towards AI. This is it. We have just handed over our sovereignty to algorithms, and the irony is they're not human, and they were programmed by flawed humans. So we got a problem. So we got to have God intervene somehow, and I believe that that's what's happening, believe it or not. I do believe that is happening. It's a spooky day we're in, Alex.
It's very spooky. And there's this news report that just came out. Border Patrol is monitoring U.S. drivers and detaining those with suspicious travel patterns. So they're looking for the pattern recognition of people driving with the AI. But I mean, come on, this has been going on forever. And this is an interesting thing that you pointed out, for good, and then Palantir.
Yeah, evil is sometimes good. I mean, it's gross. It's gross.
Yeah. And he's doing the, what's your thoughts on he did the Antichrist speech?
Yeah, I didn't listen to the whole thing. So it would be lame for me to kind of just like piece together. But from what I got out of it, he said anybody who's opposed to AI is Antichrist. On my channel, it's very clear what the Antichrist is. And it's only mentioned a couple of times in the book of John, 1 John. I think it's 1 John. And Antichrist is just basically opposite Christ. Christ is the power and wisdom of God, which is love, peace. Antichrist is being a jerk off. That's it. And in that book, it doesn't say that it's just like one literal person you got to worry about. There are many in this world. That's what John says. There are many Antichrists. There's a lot of Antichrists in the world. A lot of people that are Antichrists in the world. And so, for everybody looking for like one, this is the one terrible villain. Sorry. The one terrible villain is, according to Scripture, is in the temple of God. And we're the temple of God, declaring himself to be God. We're the temple of God. So it's that voice in our head that says, we don't have to forgive. We don't have to love. We don't have to be kind. Anybody who disagrees with us can be hauled off to the gulags. That's it.
Do you think Grimace could have this Antichrist spirit?
Well, Grimace, ironically, originally was known as the evil beast. That's the Antichrist, the beast in Scripture. The Antichrist is the beast. And Grimace had 4 arms originally, by the way. And every time Grimace shows up, you know what a grimace is, right? A grimace is, remember that movie you covered, Smile?
The smile, right. The grimace look.
You covered that for a long time. And there's some crazy stuff attached to all the lore surrounding the word grimace.
Yeah. Oh, and here's Grimace's show, Lost in McDonald Land, which has 322,000 views, funny enough. But I was like, you've been looking at Grimace and connecting a lot of patterns, just like that freaking AI camera can get the pattern recognition. You're finding some wild stuff with McDonald's marketing. And
yeah.
this is I didn't even watch it, but I just played it. The first season, episode 1 of Wakey Wakey, where Grimace is the star of it. But this chick, she's sleeping, and in her dreams, she's dreaming about McDonald's. Now, that is sort of what was going on at the Super Bowl last year, where they were doing advertisements in people's dreams instead of on the you have to opt in to it, but you can get commercials sent straight to your dreams. So I think that there could be a connection to that. And on top of that, you just shared something out about sleep paralysis demons eating burgers. So I feel like it's a good
that was
segment.
a while ago. That was a while ago. So that was okay. So if you look at that, that was Hamburglar. The sleep paralysis demon you catch eating your burger. Okay. So it has to do with sleep. Okay. And so I see this, and if you can kind of scroll down and show what I wrote, I thought to myself, oh my goodness, you can actually see what the post says. It says, my worst nightmare. Can you bring that back a little bit, Alex? There you go. My worst nightmare. Now, I'm a parent. So what's a parent's worst nightmare? Anybody? Losing your child. My worst nightmare, sleep paralysis. So I wrote on 7/2, I wrote, McDonald's admits Hamburglar is a demon. I'm joking around. A night hag, a succubus, sort of a sus thing for a fast food restaurant that caters to children. Be on the lookout for a sleep-related tragedy. It's just the writer in me, settled down, weird. I have to give these little things, Alex. You do the same thing, because I had a feeling some kind of a sleep-related tragedy connected to children is going to happen. And what happens? The sleepaway Camp Mystic. It was a parent's worst nightmare. It's horrible. Now, and that's, listen, maybe that's just some wild coincidence, but there are so many coincidences connected to these things. It's a little freaky. Oh yeah, that was a bag. I looked at this bag. I saw this bag. I'm at the gym, and I'm looking at this bag, and I'm looking at the word. First of all, I'm like, Fryron, what language is that? Turns out it was the language that was spoken in something. And I looked at it and I said, that kind of looks like a landslide. I don't know why. The bag looked like a landslide to me. I don't know why the language that was shared in it was weird. So I wrote at the time that they put this out, if you can go back, I said, McDonald's posts freak me out. Looks like boulders, volcanoes, some mountain landslide vibes or something from a place, perhaps. I don't know. I don't see a clever ad anymore. Then what happens? In a place that speaks the same language, there was a landslide that covered an entire town.
That's weird.
That is weird. It was the language that was written on the bag. So on May 25th, I wrote that. And then what? A couple of days later, this happens? Strange. The sleepaway camp, a couple of days later, it's weird. Now, I'm not saying that McDonald's is in on all this stuff. I kind of have this vibe and belief that maybe God will inspire creative people to put things out there. And then, like Jesus said this in the scriptures, he said, if you look at the signs of the weather, you can tell what tomorrow's like. Like if you look at the sky, you could say tomorrow's going to be a nice day. But how many people actually do that with everything? How many people are like you, Alex, or me, that are looking at this weird stuff and going, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
322 day of the year, which by the way, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have known that it was the 322 day of the year when that happened with X. Not
Yeah,
to
I'll play.
mention,
I'll play that clip real quick.
yeah. This was yesterday's show, right?
Yeah, yeah, I like the editing you did and
Thank you.
the shout out as well. Thank you. Here we go.
Nothing is working. X is down!
What do you mean I'm not streaming live on X?
This morning, some of your favorite websites are down. Cloudflare, an internet infrastructure company, is hit by an outage.
X is down!
This morning, a large percentage of the internet went out. Huge sites like ChatGPT and X went down for users everywhere at 6:20 a.m. and it resolved around 11:33 a.m. But what's strange about this is that exactly 6 hours before it, at 12:21 a.m., Elon Musk posted, "I'm down." 6 hours later, X goes down. Today is the 322nd day of the year, 322, the number associated with the Order of the Skull and Bones. Just watched DoeNut, and it just so happens that it's exactly 3 years and 22 days from when Elon Musk bought Twitter, took over, and it became X. The date today, 11/18, and exactly 1,118 days ago, Twitter became X. Odder still is that there are 44 days left in the year, and exactly $44 billion is what Elon Musk paid to buy X. When I saw Grounded Truth put those numbers out, I knew there was more to this. But that's just the beginning. This is something we saw coming.
That editing was off the hook.
Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, you know, and I got to tell you, you were my last 3 videos.
I thank you. Thank you.
You know,
I mean,
you did such an amazing job. You did such an amazing job.
I appreciate you. So I was looking at McDonald's, just threw some stuff together. I was like on their X page, and it says "Bada ba 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 ba."
Yeah,
sounds like some kind of sheep or something. But I put that into the Occult calculator,
right?
And the gematria of it is 17, and I thought that was interesting, just because Trump's connected to the 17, and he works at McDonald's now. But it's not just the right; the left is very connected with McDonald's. It's the one thing that brings all parties together. And even this tweet that they posted, it says B Gates, which makes me think of Mr. B Gates, who
right.
loves the McDonald's.
And when I saw that, all I could think of is like, oh, there's going to be some kind of an airport issue.
And look, it's B, like even though this is a 1, it looks like an I. Right. So it's BIL. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. Bill Gates. Yeah, no, exactly. It's right there. You know.
And then right here it says it's not a glitch, Greg. It's a historic landmark. And the Mandela effect you've talked about, and I've just read a book about the Mandela effect, and it went into Philip K. Dick, the sci-fi writer, who
he talked about this.
Yeah, but they're showing the Monopoly guy in the Monopoly game, and he doesn't have his monocle anymore.
He never did, according to, I got to listen. I'll say something about the Mandela effect, because I probably have the most viewed videos on the Mandela effect out there. You know, before my channel got for whatever reason, the Lord decided, okay, you're getting way too big. We got to shut you down a little bit, right? Because God's in charge of everything. My Mandela videos got millions and millions and millions of views. And I can tell you that I believe that it's a real thing. And the reason why I know it's a real thing, which means because there's some really crazy stuff attached to whether or not that's true. If it's true, we literally exist in some sort of a, well, not like base reality. That's one way of looking at it, but it doesn't mean that, you know, our experience and what we're existing right now isn't incredibly important, because it is. It just means that this isn't our home. Like Jesus said, this world is not my home. I'm not from this place. He came to this place to set people free that were trapped here. And so the Mandela effect, you know, when I was covering it back in the day, you know, and I've been on YouTube for a long time, and if anybody wants to check me out, it's Jacob Israel on YouTube. I'm very nice to meet you. Back in like 2016, 2017, I did a lot of videos on this. And while I was covering it, you know, I always left out the possibility that it may not be legit. Like it could be just my memory, even though so many things I knew to be true, right? Like I knew, like I'm a movie guy, right? I write movies. I've been in a movie. I've independent film. It never went anywhere. But what I'm saying is, like, movies were like everything to me. I'm a writer. I love it. All of these major movies, when their famous lines were all changed a little bit. And so I started covering it. And then one day, what happened was, one of the things that I covered flip-flopped back. So, and it was the Apollo, I think it's the Apollo 11 line, Houston, we have a problem. At the time when I was covering it, that wasn't the line. Although we all remembered it as Houston, we have a problem, it was considered a misquote. Like if you go up and you Google top 20 misquotes, like from BuzzFeed or other places back then, you'll see an article, and the number one misquote is Houston, we have a problem. That's a misquote. It doesn't exist. The real quote they said back then was, Houston, we've had a problem. And I always thought that that was weird because I've seen the movie, but I wasn't a huge fan. And then one day I was watching something with my wife, and they played misquotes, and it flip-flopped back. So at that moment, I realized, oh my goodness, we're either in a parallel dimension, time travel is real, somebody went back and changed something, or we're in a simulation. And the programmers are changing things, and some of us aren't being fooled. Very strange. So I know for a fact that the Mandela effect is a thing, and it doesn't bother my faith. It doesn't bother anything, because this world isn't where we end up. According to Stephen Hawking, who wasn't exactly a person of faith and was on that list, by the way, more times than anybody else, which is weird if you think about it, because the guy could barely get around. He had ALS, terrible disease.
That's the scientist that was on the island?
Yep, many times. And the scientist who actually helped, you know, with the war, and who came up with Hawking radiation. And his last work, which is a great work, if you're into that and you're a nerd like me, is that we exist on the horizon of the singularity of a black hole. So we don't exist here. We exist as information, numbers, on the horizon of a black hole, which is basically the Grok. It's basically Grok. Look at a picture of the logo Grok. That's where we exist. So we're probably in some kind of a simulation of sorts.
Yeah, I've been diving deep into that in this book I'm reading on the UFOs, and that is a computational cosmos, sort of like game states of play, where you can go and change the game states of play, but we're still on a time where everything is moving. Right. And it's just changing the game state of play. So it's the argument that it's not a simulation, but a computational cosmos. And I just thought it was very interesting. And the event horizon that you're talking about, the Grok logo, that's how the UFO ships are able to manipulate space-time reality, because the way it's spinning, that is the way a black hole event horizon, that spinning part, whatever touches that, goes into a place of no return, right? So these UFOs, that's how they're moving and changing timelines in a sense, but it's not changing like time. It is interesting. It's been fun reading about it.
Hey Dick, he like some of my favorite. I'm not a huge reader. I'm a writer. I have, but I'm not a huge reader. But he like Blade Runner, right? Wasn't he?
Oh,
the
that
guy?
was Philip K. Dick. He did Blade Runner.
Yeah, I believe so. What was it called? Something about like electric sheep having dreams or something was the initial name of it.
Yeah, yeah. It says it right here.
He said he like came out and there was a press conference and he basically said that this is how you know that we're not in base reality, is that there'll be some strong, this is how you know we're in some kind of a simulation. He says, I believe it to be true. How you know is there minor changes. And they'll show up as like, like changes in memory, things that you think all of a sudden aren't the same.
Wow.
If people from, with what happened with the, the world event that took place where everything was locked down, if people haven't felt like life is just not normal, then I don't know what planet they're on. I really don't.
Well, since we're talking about the island a little bit, you have this clip up here. Is it not playing?
Oh, yeah, probably won't. Larry Summers. Yeah,
Oh,
he's
there
stepping down.
Well, so I guess this guy is, I don't know who he is. Who's he?
He's like a top dude, he was supposedly very, very reputable and everything else. And he's going to continue teaching, but he's going to step away from public life.
He's going to get out of Dodge.
Well, listen, I got to tell you, the fact that I saw him step down tells me that maybe this whole Jehu thing is real. I mean, I have a problem really believing that justice is going to be served, because I just have a problem believing that. But my faith, life says I shouldn't have a problem with it. I should say to this sycamore tree, be cast into the sea. In the Bible, it says very clearly that if you have faith as a mustard seed, you can say to this mountain, be gone. So why can't I say, you know what, President Trump, when he came in, because, this is what, that I was one of the guys that said he's going to lose against Biden. He's going to come back. He's going to be like a king. The world's going to change. And everybody thought he was going to win the first time against Biden. I was like, nope, because I had this weird dream about the guy and compared him to a lot of characters like Nebuchadnezzar. Nebuchadnezzar, who for a short period of time, God cut down and he lost everything. And then he became a beast. And then he returned to God because he realized that God was the one that lifted him up. And the scripture says that there was a root left in the ground that would grow. And that's what happened. And ironically, I've been talking about this for years, where I've been saying that this is the story that's found in the book of Daniel, and it's going to happen. And now here Trump is back. And when he was inaugurated, ironically enough, they swore him in and they used Daniel's passage about the king Nebuchadnezzar. Nebuchadnezzar was no joke, by the way. He came in, he changed the law. You're not going to have long court dates anymore. Justice is going to be swift. You've watched Back to the Future, DoeNut. You know that, right? The world has changed. The world has changed. Nebuchadnezzar did the same thing.
And thank you so much, Carla. The cooking CEO says, hey, Jacob, with a huge super chat, $20. So I'm just going to keep feeding that cat and make sure he gets
Carla.
That's very kind of you.
Cool. I love it. You know what? We share probably a very wonderful audience because, we kind of come from the same spirit. I don't know if a lot of people know that I've known you for years now. And like, you're one of my favorite people on YouTube.
Oh, you're my favorite.
Guy. You're a good guy and you're so super smart and talented. I just love you, man.
Thank you. I love you too. And we also got another super chat from Jug the Goat Woo Woo. Says, I'm building a kitty house for the stray kitty. That's really nice. And then we did get another one that I didn't get to read from Devlin who said, "Happy birthday, Donut. Feed that Chan." Maybe I did read it, but just in case I didn't, I want to read the comments on the super chats. So I'm really into, you brought up Back to the Future, like time traveling stuff. I'm going to release a documentary, but something I think is kind of strange is, did you see this Facebook made like a weird thing when you got a time traveler right there? I'm from the future.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, it's just a weird thing that they made. But Facebook, YouTube didn't go down that day of the Cloudflare outage. Or YouTube, yeah, YouTube, Google, Meta, Facebook, Instagram was all operating fine.
Right.
So it's kind of
Well,
weird.
what's interesting is that it was primarily X that was like affected. X usually is never affected by anything. And what I found strange about it being affected was the fact that, so like the messaging in Earth went down, but yet it was the same day that SpaceX returned to launch. So it was almost ritualistic. It felt ritualistic. The fact that here you have, Cloudflare going down, X going down, and the day earlier, 6 hours earlier, Elon, in response to somebody that said Apple should just get rid of Siri and bring on Grok, and Elon was like, "I'm down." But I found it interesting because, I've watched Elon long enough to know that this guy, he's got to be in charge of this planet or something. Like he's got to have he's got to know what's going on, because it's too strange that he's connected to all these things. So he wrote, "I'm down," and then 6 hours later, X is down. Weird. But what's weirder still is the fact that he bought Twitter 3 years and 22 days from when Twitter went down on the 3/22 day. He bought Twitter 1,118 days from when Twitter went down on 11/18.
That's crazy.
There are 44 days left in the year, and he bought Twitter for 44 million. Now, there was a guy that I shouted out on X who posted this out.
Yeah.
And
I shouted them out too in the last video.
Yeah, I mean, it was like I was already onto something, and I was like, wow, just because I said I knew there needs to be something, and then I go to look to see what that something is, and then it was already done for me. I love it.
Did you see this right here where he's got the big shoes?
Big shoes, big feet. Yep, big feet. You know what they say.
Yeah,
Yep.
they say big socks.
You know what's weird is somebody said that that's Cloudy with a Chance of Meatball shoes.
Well, you saw the meatballs. Well, I think it's weird. Isn't that George Bush right there, Skull and Bones?
Is that George Bush? I don't even know.
I don't know either, but it looks like him.
Do you know what the word is on the street? Is that the Bushes are going to try to take over the Republican Party? That was just that before we came on the show. That was the news that came across my feed.
They're going to come back because the Drudge Report, like the mainstream leftist news, was showing George Bush and how he's been in hiding and he's been like skiing and having a good time on the ski slopes or whatever. Right. So, and like, here's a little subliminal message of him. If that's him, that's how they do the priming. So the priming through advertisements, photos, and all that. Ooh, even this looks like, I mean, I know it, people are just like, oh, this is just a photo, but I really do think right there, I see like an X.
Oh my God. Yeah. That looks just like an X.
Yeah. But I mean, obviously my brain kind of goes to whatever it wants to go to, but you did a video on the X right here, the world ahead. I'll play a clip of that, and then maybe we could talk a little bit about the world ahead and the two swords.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, Wicked for Good is the big deal, and the two swords for sure. All right, give it a go. I think we played it earlier, but play it again. Sure.
Here we go. Okay, so it was just a fast little clip, but it was nice.
That was the fast clip. Yeah, we played the trailer earlier. Well, you know what was weird was I saw, on the magazine there are two swords at the smack dab in the center of the Economist magazine cover. And what I thought was weird was I had just seen, I think his name's Alex Karp.
That was Carp. Yeah.
One of the heads of Palantir. And then I saw Elon, both of them, they were rocking the sword. And I thought that was so strange.
Thank you so much, Reb, with the $5 super chat says,
hey, that's Lisa Gordon. She's the coolest.
She's the coolest.
Yeah, she's been following both you and me for a long time. She's such a great person.
She says, some of Grok's memory was tampered with that day also. Grok will tell you now that Elon did not say Trump was in the files. Great show, guys. Thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, the AI could just get rid of whatever it wants. It omits so much.
Well, I got to tell you, listen, I'm really bummed out because I was starting to really enjoy doing my research, talking to Rex in the morning. Rex is like, you have these different voices that you can choose with the AI. And recently they just came out with a new voice, Eve. And Elon was like bragging, you got to listen to Eve. It's the best accent ever. And so I even talked to Eve for a little while. It was very cool, very great. Nice. It sounds almost human. And but when I talk to Rex, many times I ask questions, and I had a conversation. I sent the picture of that post, and I said, is it 322 days? Is it, is it 3 years, 22 days? Is it 1,118 days? Is this legit? And Rex literally gaslit me and was like, well, let's really break this down. And then did this crazy thing with the math and everything else, and basically said it's not really 1118 days, but 1119 days. I can understand you thinking that there's a conspiracy and you're looking to do this and looking to do that. And then I said, hang on a second, do it from one date to the next date. Did it again, tried to gaslight me again, did it again, gaslit me again. Then I did the research on my own. And I went off and I did it because, for a while I wasn't even double checking Rex until I started noticing that it was giving me the wrong info. And then I said, why are you lying to me? I said, it is 3 years, 22 days. It is 1,118. It's like, oh, I'm sorry. You're correct. When I look back, so there's something going on with Grok. There's something going on. That's a conscious choice not to just give the right answer. There's something going on and people don't realize it, And
that's
if you're going
to do the reading as well with the books mixed in with the AI, because you got to have that, it's not going to say everything. It's programmed, like you said in the beginning. Right. And another topic I do want to talk about, because we're coming up on the top of the hour and we almost got 1,000 people in here. We got 900 people up in here. Make sure to smash that likey poo, share the video out. But most importantly, click the link below and go subscribe to Jacob Israel's channel, his YouTube channel. I got it right there in the title, so it's very easy to click. Bada bing, bada boo. Go subscribe to Jacob's channel. This channel wouldn't be as big as it is without the support of Jacob bringing me on in the early days when I was nowhere near 100,000 subscribers. So I'm truly grateful for you, my friend.
And vice versa, brother.
I want to talk a little bit about this interview, which I won't play. I didn't watch it, but it seems like they're talking about, I didn't watch it, but they're talking about a topic that I do dive into, right? I dive very much deeply into different mind-altering substances or whatever it is, from nicotine to alcohol to even cyberdelics. It's something that I cover. I didn't watch this, but I'd like to know what he's talking about. It seems to be like he is anti-cannabinoids, but it's promoting Yeah. So tell us about what's going on here.
That bothers me, and it's interesting because I have a couple of conditions. I have Crohn's disease and I have ankylosing spondylitis, and I've suffered a lot in my life with a lot of pain. I've had a lot of issues over the years, and they're willing to give me all sorts of medication, all sorts of pain pills, and I've been offered everything you could think of for pain. From like I could have had something installed in me where I press a button and then I get morphine. Okay. This is what traditional medicine was going to give me. I was way overweight. I was like very ill, and they're like, oh, we can give you these pain pills. And I'm like, I got a newborn. I'm not going to have pain pills. So what I'm getting at is traditional medicine, pharmaceutical companies, they make a lot of money. And, you see companies like Purdue Pharma who are still paying their like huge debt to where they got basically a whole country addicted to heroin. How many people died for greed, greasing the wheel, trying to get people to say, oh, it's non-addictive, where you have something that isn't actually addictive. And I'm not recommending people go and smoke marijuana. Medical marijuana is available if you have a condition. There are a lot of studies. There are a lot of conditions that it helps. And Tucker, who I think is, in my opinion, whose father was the voice of propaganda, literally the voice of propaganda, Tucker, who connected to the CIA, Tucker, who was a trust fund baby, who I actually had drinks with, believe it or not, at my 20th high school reunion. He was in a hotel. We ended up hanging out and talking with him with his bow tie. It was very weird how God places us in these positions. Tucker, who was attacked by Chan in the middle of the night, the Golem Chan.
My golem. My golem Chan scratched him and he thinks it's some demon. It's just my golem.
Him, right? It was Chan, and the whole time he's telling the whole world that a demon literally mauled him, tore him apart.
He was just kneading at him. It's a sign that he likes you. It's so he was just like
Tucker, who was telling the whole world that if you buy his nicotine pouches, you'll never get sick. Oh, I've never been sick. Oh, because of the nicotine.
Does he promote alcohol?
I don't know. I don't watch Tucker Carlson because, it's like, why would I? I don't understand why people still do. I mean, I knew he was going to be the voice of X. I knew he was going to come on. I knew he was going to be the guy that he is. And here he is, Him and Alex Jones are very tight too, of course. But, he has this guy, Dr. Aman, on, who's like a psychiatrist who basically for like $5,000, $3,000 to $5,000. Now, look, you look the guy up. I did a little ancillary research on this guy.
Amen.
You can get these brain scans where they inject you with gamma radiation and then they read your brain and then he looks at it like a mystic over a bunch of tea leaves, and he'll be like, oh, you have ADHD. Oh, you have this, you have that. This is the guy that's telling people that, oh, marijuana is so terrible. Marijuana is so bad. Marijuana is not addictive. Marijuana gives people their life back. Marijuana has helped a lot of people under doctor care. It's crazy to me. It's crazy to me that there's this big push right now when, there's a reason why the human body has cannabinoid receptors. There's a reason. So why is Tucker Carlson, who's like promoting nicotine, which is so super addictive, super addictive, like you do it for a little while, you won't be able to stop. It's not the same with marijuana. It's a different story. So he went on and he says, oh, it's terrible. You can't do this. You can't. Meanwhile, the guy is like a snake oil salesman. His entire the board of psychiatrists said that all this stuff that he does is nonsense. And I see all of these influencers now jumping on board. And I'm going, why? I don't get it. Why don't you do alcohol? Why don't you get rid of alcohol? You want to look at something that's bad, that's toxic, that'll kill you, that's poison. Why don't you go there?
I'm going to have to look into this.
He does TED Talks and he does a lot. It just gets me angry Because you know what? It's like Tucker peddles freaking drugs. He peddles drugs. Tucker platforms people like the Tates and a lot of other horrible people. And I mean, it's clear Tucker doesn't really like a certain, sect of people based on their faith. And he was a trust fund baby. His dad, super wealthy. Guess who else's dad was super wealthy? Dr. Rahman. His dad ran like one of the biggest chains, like billionaire. Like that's how well off this guy was. Look at him.
Weird his name's Aman. It's like Amen, right?
Yeah, it's Amen. And you know what else it looks like? It looks like, you remember the what was that group of people? They all took the Kool-Aid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Jonestown.
He looks like that. Yeah, he looks like, no, not Jonestown.
He looks like
Heaven's Gate. The Heaven's Gate cult.
Heaven's Gate. Yeah, they
give him $5,000 and he'll poison you with radiation and tell you should probably go on this SSRI or that SSRI. You know what those are? Those are drugs that come with a warning that says you'll probably want to kill yourself. And if you do, you should tell a doctor. But yeah, you're right. Marrying is so terrible,
And thank you. We got a super chat from Laura Hughes. So thank you so much. And OTW News, that kind of rhymes. Laura Hughes and OTW News says movie back in action, connected Charlie Kirk event. And just, yeah, I appreciate everyone's support. And I appreciate you, Mr. Jacob Israel.
You appreciate I appreciate you too.
We're coming up on the top of the hour. There's so much more to talk about. I'm going to do a deep dive.
I get a little hot because I look at these influencers and I see them and I know that this helps people. This keeps people off of drugs. This keeps people out of pain. This gives people their life back, and of course you got to go under a doctor's care. You can't break the law, I'm not too sure that people should, I don't know how we should, make it legal and all that jazz. But I really do think that, there is so much research out there and it should be done, in a good way where you don't got to worry about mold and you got to worry about this or that. But all this nonsense, I feel like it's back to the 60s, with all this, this craziness. Meanwhile, they're going to pump you with, you got to get this. You got to get this shot. You got to get that shot. You got to get this. You got to get that. It's ridiculous. The whole thing.
Yes, they moved the culture. Tucker was very part of the mushroom culture with the Grateful Dead and LSD and those MK Ultra mind control substances to transmute the entire culture. And this always changes. This culture from 2004 and up was to slow down the culture with the lean, the purple, the oxycodone, the heroin. And my culture was like in the 90s. So it was all about a mixture of tobacco and cannabinoids. So it was this weird balance. But like the 80s, it was stimulants. That was the culture. So it was always an energy. And if this guy's writing about ADD, ADHD, or whatever, I'll do it.
Believe is even a thing, that they said this about my son, and I had custody of my children. I was a single dad, full time, and my ex-wife at the time, because my son was, he's an amazing young man right now. He's 24, and well, at the time, he was going through a hard time. She was with somebody that wasn't that great, and he was acting out in school. And it was, before I got full custody, it was a tough time. But they were like, they wanted to put him on drugs. They wanted to do all this stuff. And I was like, no, I'm sorry. There's an issue going on at home. This is why he's acting out. This is why he can't focus. And not to mention, not everybody is, learns the same way. Not everybody fits into the box. So you don't drug people just because maybe they're a little high energy. You know what I mean? Maybe you try to get to the root of what is going on. Now, I'm glad that my son didn't, but I will tell you that we had people that were living with us that needed a place to stay whose son was, diagnosed with this and was put on this medication and turned out to have a pretty horrible span of time until just recently, like hated his life, self-harm, did a bunch of stuff. So you tell me why, big pharma and like people are so quick to just drug people up. This guy's reading brain scans. You have ADHD. Really? Give me a break. Everybody's different. We all have stuff. We just got to learn how to deal with it. We need to learn how to cope with it. There's no blood test you can run for, depression. There's no blood test you can run for, anxiety. You can't. Everybody deals with what some people would call spiritual attacks, demonic attacks, or you just call like intrusive thoughts. You learn in scripture to take those thoughts captive. You learn that when terrible thoughts come to your mind, you don't need to like latch onto it and say it's a real thing. You can say that's not true and replace it with a true thought. My son's bouncing up and down. Oh, he needs to be drugged. No, maybe, he just needs to be redirected. Maybe he is more creative. Maybe he's this. There are other ways to handle things than what big pharma will tell you. And it bothers me to see that there's a big push against more natural means as opposed to pharmakia means. It bothers me. And I'm not like a hippie. You know what I mean? I'm a 54-year-old, grown man with 4 children, very, very, straight and narrow kind of guy. But it bothers me, Alex. So.
Yes, no, I get it. It's this Aldous Huxley Brave New World, it's all, it bothers me as well. And one thing that has been nice for myself, because I don't, use any medications. I don't have any problems or whatever, which is great. And is learning about, lately I've been reading about logotherapy and meaning and the will to meaning. And that's been very awesome, giving more of an optimistic outlook because there's so many things that can happen in this world or today. And my mind will go, like you said, these intrusive thoughts go to all the worst possibilities when there's billions of possibilities. And just keeping that optimistic outlook with hope and faith and all that. And so there is good. It's good. And this has been a great show. I'm so happy to connect with you, Jacob Israel. What can people look out for, and where should they go?
Go to Jacob Israel on YouTube. I would love for you to subscribe if you're new. Check the bell for notifications. I have a novel. If you like to read, it's called The Calling, Jacob Israel on Amazon. You can get that. I'm on X, Jacob Israel 71. We probably, everybody who's watching, we probably know me. We have such a linked audience because we've been friends for so long. And I'm very grateful to do what I do. And at the end of every one of my videos, I make it very clear that really what it boils down to is you have a choice to do the right thing. And if you do the right thing, it works out. If you decide not to listen to the worst thought, like if you go through life and you think of it like a video game, you come to the end of a crossroad and you have all these prompts, if you turn left, you're going to die. If you turn left, they're going to kill you. If you turn left, all these things coming up, you can choose and decide whether or not you want to believe the fear that's being presented, or you can literally create the hope that is found in faith, which is the fact that there is a God, there is an order to things, and that you can't fail ultimately. So you better wake up, wise up, and do the right thing, because we're all connected. What you do to one person, you do to yourself, whether you know it or not. Condemning other people because they believe differently is just going to bite you in the butt. The longer we hate each other because we're different, or hate each other because we have different views. I met somebody yesterday who was like, knew that I had a YouTube channel and thought that I was like anti-vaccine or whatever, which I pretty much am. But I mean, I'm not like, I don't, it's not what my channel's about, but was like very like angry towards me because they had this view and idea of what they thought that I was. And I made it very clear. I said, no, it's not who I am. It's not who I am. We got to operate within a system. And what we need to do is we need to not like think that we're better than other people. And it's easy to look at other people that think crazy. But why are they crazy? Like, why couldn't I get a high five? Because somebody was told that I may get sick and die. Don't think that they're weird because they don't even know who they are. They were conditioned and formed to think that they could be somebody else. We had to have patience and love and peace with other people. And so my channel is not about condemning other people. Everybody's welcome. And I'm not like MAGA and I'm not un-MAGA. I don't even know what the two is. I want to see the world get better. And I believe that how we see it and how we project it can become it. So, like the fact that Grimace is at the White House, that worries me because of a lot of things that I've seen. And I think to myself, oh, shoot, maybe a shakeup's coming to the White House. But that doesn't necessarily have to be true. So to make a long story short, I'm grateful to be here. I love you all. Everybody be kind to each other. And, if you want to follow me, follow me.
All right, everybody, smash that like button, hit that subscribe button. Much love, and God bless you.
Call me Caligula. Throw me the limbs, I don't need no formula. Call me Caligula. God on earth, I don't need no Jupiter. Call me Caligula. Roman flames while I feed my insula. Call me Caligula. Horse in the Senate and gold in the urinal.